So welcome to today's Greater Life CoffeeCast. And the question I pose today, with the pillar of happiness being our focus: can you be happy with Bareness and beans? Can you be happy with Bareness and beans? And what I mean by this is, can you be happy? Can you find reasons to be grateful, to be joyous, even when external circumstances require things that many might label as reasons to not be happy? And so the two cases in point here. I was chatting with some dear friends over the weekend, and they were describing how in the process of building a successful business, and indeed a home that is just super magical, that's just such a beautiful labour of love, but it's really taken them time. They said they had about 5 years where they just lived on beans, where, that money was always scarce because they were just, ploughing everything into the business. They were working all hours and they were literally living on beans. And it struck me that for most endeavours where great joy is the long-term outcome, there is going to be a period of eating beans. And I know for myself with Greater Life, the chances are that I am in that phase right now. And part of that also comes to this second piece of Bareness. That can you not just endure, but can you embrace the process of being stripped bare? Of the old ways of operating, the old personas and masks that we've talked about. Can you embrace the process of those being stripped away, of those falling away, of consciously leaning into releasing them, of finding that deep and powerful acceptance for your most shameful parts? And in even connecting with that shame is a process of being laid bare, of having all of the delusions of grandeur fall away, so that there remaining is nothing but the real, authentic self. And it struck me that, and I don't want to make generalizations, but to the best of my ability here, let me just flow with it, okay? Which is that a lot of people will go through their life believing that they have a certain level of happiness and that there's a certain cap on that happiness. And that might look like something like, getting to watch TV and go on a couple of holidays a year, etc. Right? And if that's your thing, cool. Like, there's absolutely zero, maybe I'm wide of the mark here. But I think for some of us, and I think the chances are if you're listening to this, there's no accidents that you're listening to this. We are seeking something deeper, something richer, something more sustainable as well. Something that does not depend on anything external, but is rather a constant fire from within, of joy, of gratitude. And my sense is, and it would seem to be affirmed by people far wiser and are quote unquote more spiritually advanced than me, if that's even a thing, that deep contentment, that wellspring of joy, arises from that inner work, and that very often that inner work may be mirrored in outer work, hence the Bareness and the beans. That the inner work being the embracing of all that needs to happen internally, all that inner transformation, all that releasing of old conditioning and patterns and trauma with a big or small T, and mirrored by the capacity to embrace those periods of life where we're eating beans, recognizing that the long-term payoff is far greater than the present slight diminishing of gratification by having to subsist on beans. And I'm also wary of using terms like payoff, because it suggests on some level that we are mortgaging our present happiness for a future happiness that's greater. And I'm not sure it's that simple. I'm not sure it's that cut and dried. I think it's more the invitation from the start of this coffee cast was, can you be joyous? Can you be happy in the bareness, with the beans? And that's the practice, is that whatever the internal, external circumstances, to know that there is a birthright of joy, that this experience of life, this wonderful journey, this living story that you get to tell, is something full of magic and wonder wherever the bareness and the beans may be showing up. Whatever may be the circumstances, that the circumstances themselves, the very fact that we get to have them, what a wonder. So, yes, there may be periods when we must be stripped bare. There may be periods of eating beans. And that those indeed may give rise in the future to experiences of happiness, joy, gratitude that right now are greater than what we might know. Yet that does not diminish our capacity right here, right now, whatever may be, to experience very powerful levels of joy, gratitude, happiness, abundance. So, where are you at right now? Where perhaps do you need to allow yourself to be more bare, to release, to let go, to shed, to transform? And are there any ways in which that metaphor or that literal process of eating beans, of doing with less materially right now, because long term there is something being built that is part of a passion and a vision and a purpose that deeply stirs your soul? Where are you with that? And wherever you're at, can you be joyful and happy today?